Is it going to work? Is it going to work? It should work. Why is the video not coming on? It's supposed to work. Okay, let's do this. Hi guys. I was trying to get my face camera to work so that you guys could see what I'm actually doing and what I look like now, because my hair is extremely long. But it doesn't look like the camera is going to work for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. Oh well. Back to the drawing board. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm sorry that this camera is not working, or at least my face camera is not working. Oh, there it is. Hi. Nice to see you guys. Long time we haven't seen each other. So How is everyone tonight? I'm glad I actually made it on live tonight because, oh boy, yeah, there was a lot of traffic and it took me almost 2.5 hours to get home. Yeah, but no problem. We made it. We're here. So let's see who's here on tonight. So, well, hello, Miss Kim. How are you, girl? Hope you're feeling better. Hope you're feeling better than yesterday or the day before, and hope tomorrow you feel one step forward. So, hope you're doing good. Hello, Miss Cat F. Thank you for joining here tonight. Pat Strawhouse. Hey, girl, how you doing? Hello, Mr. Jim Bennett. Thanks for joining tonight again. And Miss Around to It, Shirley. How you doing, girl? So Linda Faust is here. Cheryl Clute. Wow, that's a name I haven't seen in a long time. Miss you. Hope everything's okay in your neck of the neighborhood. Okay, hi, Anne. So, what are we doing tonight? Well, let me just kind of tell you. Last night we did the Christmas wreath, and I have it on my door, and I didn't take a picture of it yet. I was supposed to take a picture of it and post it so you guys can see it in its final glory. But every time I get ready to take a picture, it's either too dark or too windy. It's been getting quite dark here early. Well, anytime during the winter, it's always getting dark early. Hi, Jimmy Tony. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Today has been good. Hoping Friday is the last visit with the surgeon. Prayers for Kim, guys, because she is having a battle. And so let's all send our best wishes and positive vibes to Kim so that Friday will be the last day she sees her surgeon. Hang in there, girl. So since last night we did a very, very long live. Let me switch to the dual cameras angles here. We did a whole Christmas wreath, believe it or not, in 2 hours time. So I figured tonight we're going to keep this one a little bit short, but I wanted to, actually just do this and kind of demonstrate a card making technique that sometimes if I'm in a bind and I don't want to spend a whole ton of time just making Christmas cards, this is my go-to method of getting some quick and easy Christmas cards done. Now you don't necessarily have to be only for Christmas. You could do this basically for any holiday or for any occasion. You could do it where I've done this for birthday cards when I need a real quick one to do. Instead of me just running to the store and just buying some generic card, I like to put in a little bit of effort and just make the card, especially if it's someone that I really do care about. If I don't care about the person, well, I'll just, handwritten note might be suffice enough sometimes. Okay, Pearl Harbor trivia. My dad's football team was there December 7th, 1941. He was hurt, so didn't get to go. That's right. Today is December 7th, huh? Pearl Harbor Day. Yep. It's also my coworker's birthday. Happy birthday to her. Okay, so this is the card. Hello, Vicky. Thanks for joining tonight. Okay, so this is the card that we're making here. And believe it or not, this is made from a paper napkin. One of these. Now, these are just paper napkins that I just picked up at the Dollar Tree. $1.25 for a pack of 25. paper napkins. And I actually learned this particular technique from Tracy of Mindless Crafting, who is I think she's either the sister or sister-in-law of the Quilting Marine. And so how I discovered the Quilting Marine was actually through her, because she is a paper crafter. Her YouTube channel is called Mindless Crafting. It used to be called Gift Basket Appeal. And when I saw her do this technique, I said, oh, how simple is this? I could actually do this instead of spending hours making cards. This is so much easier. Okay, so, and for every one of these napkins, I'm actually going to get 2 cards. So you can make a ton of these pretty quickly. Okay. Let's see, did anybody else show in? Okay, so is the sound okay? It is a bit high. Just let me know if it's a little too loud, because I see that the volume is actually going into the red here, and that's not a good thing. Okay, so here I got my napkin. It's all, don't worry if it's all crinkly or if it's wrinkled. You can iron it if you want to, but I usually don't. Now, if it's really crumpled up, then you might not want to use that particular napkin. And if it's been used, you definitely don't want to use it. Okay, but usually on the packaging, it'll tell you some pretty valuable information. And the information I'm actually looking for is this a 1-ply? Is this a 2-ply, or is it a 3-ply napkin? These are actually 2-ply. So what does that mean? There's actually 2 layers of paper. And you see on the corner here, I'm just kind of giving it a scratch with my fingernail, just so that I can kind of separate the layers. Because what we want to do is we want to only grab the first layer. Oh, almost got it there. There. This is only a 2-ply, so we don't have to do this more than once. Okay, so this one is an extra, in which I'm going to use this in just a second, but this is the top layer. This is the one we want to use. Okay, thank you, Kat. She said the sound is good. So, hi, Katie Crafts. Okay, so what I got here is, this is just the very, very top layer of the paper napkin. We basically separated that second layer. Sometimes these paper napkins actually come in 3 layers, in which you'll have to remove the bottom 2 layers, but we just want to deal with the top one. Hey, Miss June Hansen. Thank you for joining tonight. Okay, now, for now, we'll just put that top layer aside. And here I just have a regular, this is a cardstock, regular size, 8.5 by 11. Of course, you can just pick this up at any crafting store. And what I'm going to do is that extra layer or one of the extra layers that we just took off, I'm going to place that under here. Okay. Now this is just a regular glue stick. It's nothing special, and I don't think brand really matters on this point, but if you want to use, this is the brand that I use, which is the Avery glue stick. It is a washable, acid-free, but I don't think any of that really matters. I've done this with basically the generic glue sticks that you buy from Dollar Tree, and it works just as well. And I'm gonna do is on this entire cardstock, I'm gonna kind of generously just rub the glue stick all over it. Okay, and the reason why I put this extra scrap piece of tissue or that second layer of the napkin is to just make sure that when I do the edges, I want to not worry so much about putting glue on my surface here. So that's why I have that there. And what I do find most important is, yes, you want to put glue here in the center, but it's actually quite more important that you generously put glue right here on the edges, because if the card is going to fall apart, this is where it's going to start from. So you do want to kind of generously put the glue on. Whoops, shifted that. Then we'll do the other side. How's everyone's week going? We got some any good news from people? I just want to hear good news, because this week has been a whole ton of challenges for me personally. I save Walmart brown paper for crafting. I do that too, Jim. That's being very, to me, that's being very frugal. You know, when I was growing, I was kind of thinking about this last night, and growing up when I was in grade school, you know, they used to give us, or they used to loan us textbooks for the year, and they required us to make paper covers, and we used to actually use those brown paper bags to make our textbook cover. And I was thinking, wow, it's been a long time since I made one of those. Do I even still remember how to make those? Okay. So I am, again, just generously putting glue all over this cardstock. Okay. Then I do want to kind of double check to make sure that, yeah, I'm just kind of shining it in the light, just taking a look. Do I have glue covered in every single inch of this sheet of paper or this cardstock? And it looks pretty good, so. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my napkin again. I'm going to open it up and kind of flatten it out a little bit. I gave my former boss another quilt lesson today. Placemats. Oh. Former boss, Anne? Wow. Yeah, I don't think I would ever do that. Okay, so this is the glue side, and I'm going to put the glue side. I have my napkin face down, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it onto there, just kind of putting it center, or at least where I think it's centered. Does not have to be perfect. Okay, got it down, and commit, and just rub it on. And I think I may have actually put it on a little bit crooked, but that's fine. We had to cover our books too. You know, I used to have fun making those book covers. I mean, I guess that's, even at that age, I was into crafting. Okay, now if there's any wrinkles, you just want to kind of lightly smooth it out. If there's any air bubbles that kind of show up, you know, you can kind of just gently rub it. Don't rub it too hard though, because what can happen is you can start shredding the actual napkin. Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of just gently using my hands, my palms, just to rub out any wrinkles, air pockets that developed. Okay. I remember covering my books, and after Christmas, a lot of us used our wrapping paper from gifts. I even added the bows. Oh, I never thought about that. Would spray adhesive work for this? Yes, it would, Kat. The trick with spray adhesive, though, is you do have to make sure that your paper is not going to warp, because if you spray it a little too much, you know how when you get paper wet, it can kind of warp, and that's not going to look good. So you can use some spray adhesive. Just kind of make sure that it's a type of, or that you're using a cardstock that is maybe for watercolors, watercolor or watercolor painting. You just want to make sure that it can actually absorb the water and that it doesn't warp the paper. Okay, so this is what we have thus far. Now, I got my quilting ruler here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this sheet in half here to 5.5 inches. Because again, this is this is just a regular sheet or regular cardstock size, in which it is 11 inches long. So half of 11 inches is 5.5. In which what I'm doing here is using the ruler. I'm not going to the edge of the napkin. I'm actually measuring from the edge of where that cardstock is. And I'm just going to put the 5.5 inch mark here. And we're just going to chop it down to 5.5 inches. Now you can make a card any size you really want to. Most standard cards are usually 5.5 by 4.25. And that's what I'm going for here. Okay. So at this point then, what I'm going to do is, there's no real measuring, but what I am doing is I'm just, again, matching the line on the ruler just to the edge of the cardstock, not the edge of the napkin. And I'm just going to trim down all the excess. Okay. Now, when I do my trimming, here, I'll show you in a second. I'm actually going to trim down a little, or just grab like a small hair of the cardstock. Okay, so like, let me see if I can grab it off here. Yeah, this little small piece there, that's part of the cardstock. I'm just trimming it, barely trimming it, like a hair length or hair width off. I just tend to do that because what I do find is that if you, like if I were to try and cut it directly, right, or just try and cut all the way to the edge, the exact edge of the cardstock, if you don't get it exactly correct, it does look a little messy on the edges. So to avoid that, I just actually, when I trim this down, I will just grab just maybe like 1/32nd of an inch or maybe even 1/16th of an inch. Just grab the cardstock or cut the cardstock 1/16th of an inch, just to make sure that I got all the excess off. I hope that makes sense. Oops. had a good time with our sister. We went out for lunch and then some shopping. Ooh, two of my favorite activities there, Jim. I just don't like paying the bill. Okay. And the last side there. That's my excess. There's one. And then I can fold it in half. Okay, so see what just happened right there. As I was folding the card in half, a little bit of that napkin came off right there on my fingertip. So just be careful when you're rubbing, or if you're folding it or rubbing it, just be careful of that. Now, fortunately, that little piece was actually on the back of the card, so I'm not going to care about that. Okay, and even if, because the napkin was white, the cardstock was white, you're not really going to notice that. Okay, so there's one. Good news, I was in my sewing room today. I didn't sew, cleaned up my mess from trying to sew while not up to par the last few weeks. Tomorrow I sew. That's great news. That is awesome. Okay, glad to hear that you're able to sew tomorrow. Okay, let's see. Jim says he went to visit his mom. I hope mom's okay. And is Sandra here? Oh, yep, Sandra is here. Hey, Sandra. Okay, sorry for a second. I got a warning that my battery on the camera is low, so let me just plug it in real quick. There you go. And we'll trim down this second one. So again, just trim that. Do we have any paper crafters in here tonight? And have you guys tried this technique? I was quite shocked when I found out about this. How simple and pretty quick. I mean, in less than 5 minutes, here we have 2 cards. And in most of those 5 minutes, I'm actually chatting and reading the comments from you guys. Hi, Mona. Let's see. Okay, where did I leave off? If my dad was around when I was cutting quilt pieces and saw a rough edge, he'd tell me I need to shave a whisker off of that side. I like how the design wraps around the back of the card. Yeah, it's actually pretty nice to have it wrap around. And there's my second card. Now, one thing I should point out, if you do have a napkin that has this type of border print onto it, okay, as you can kind of see here, it's very, very hard to kind of line it up. You see that it's very crooked. Now, something like that doesn't really bother me. I believe this one and this one were the same. Notice that on here, you barely see that border print, but off of, was it this one? Yeah. Off of here, you can kind of see where that border print is. If that's going to bother you, one thing you can do is just trim it off. Take your napkin, because they don't, when they print these napkins, they don't consider how straight it is or how crooked it is. They just print it. So you can cut it off. Of course, you do this before you start gluing everything down. Then you don't have to worry about it. And then you can peel your napkin. Take off the excess. And come on. Well, take off the excess, and then when you're ready to glue it, you don't have to worry about trying to getting one of the border print by mistake. For me, I don't let something like that bother me. And there's things that you can do to kind of hide it if it is going to bother you. Maybe you could put take like a ribbon down there just to hide it. You could also cover it with something. So, or you could just leave it and just call it a design element. Okay. Let's see. I read that. Mama, that is better. I'm not sure who she's talking to. Okay. I like scrapbooking and card making. All right, Sandra. My kind of gal. Okay. I've done something similar with white glue, napkins, and paper mache boxes. Oh. I'll bet you that's where the idea for this came from. So I'll do one more of these, and then I'll switch to the other napkin. Yeah. So again, these are pretty quick to do. They don't, I mean, again, in less than 5 minutes, we got 2 cards already done. Oh, come on. Hardest part is to actually peel the layers of the napkin off. There we go. Why did I do that when I already had this one? Oh, let me just finish this. Duh. Good night, June. Thanks for stopping by. I have more paper and rubber stamps than I care to admit. Haven't made any cards in a very long time, but getting the urge. You're like me, Jimmy. Suddenly tonight I was like, okay, let's make some cards because I actually need to actually need Christmas cards to send out. Okay. I am a paper crafter as well. I think I have craft supplies for every craft out there. I love watching and trying everything. You're just like me, Shirley. I like the border. I think I'll try to include part of it. Okay. Yeah, sometimes the border actually makes the card look, or the border isn't that bad. For me, just the tricky part is to just get it even. Like I tried to do that here, but that didn't work. But you know, doesn't bother me. I quilt and have started making bags. There's just too little time. I hear you, Pat. I hear you. I think we all hear you loud and clear on that one. Okay, I'll do one more of this. Well, I want to do it without the border. Yep. I scan my fabrics into a file, print out papers, and make cards to coordinate with my quilts. Now, actually, that's very smart to do. If your printer can actually scan the image of the print on the fabric and you print it out on paper and make cards out of it, That's actually a very good thing, or a very good way to kind of like brand your gift. I never actually thought about doing that. Now you give me some ideas. And that's usually very scary. I have to try that. Okay, so I'm just generously putting the glue on here. Turn it around. Again, just grabbing the edges. Did I cover all of this? Nope. Missed a couple spots. I see it right there. There's a spot there, spot there. Okay. Brilliant idea. Thanks for the tip. Oh boy, Shirley, what did you do? You gave us all an idea. That's actually, well, take ownership of it because that's actually a great idea. And what is that? Oh, that's just excess glue. Okay. So we'll just eyeball it. Right about there. And commit and start pressing it down. Hi, Karen. Thanks for joining. I have my hot tea or hot water elixir tonight. Okay, so I got it. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but there's a big air bubble right there. So I'm just going to kind of smooth that out, see if I can get it out. There's also some wrinkling here, but I think that'll be okay. Just, you know, and stuff like that happens. Fortunately, it's on the back of the card, so it's not, somebody might not notice it right away. Okay. I don't think I put any glue down solidly right there. That's why it's bubbling up like that, but that's okay. Okay. Now, word of caution, and ask me how I know about this. If you got white, be careful and make sure that before you start rubbing it down, make sure that your hands are clean because, oh boy, if you got glue residue on there, you'll see some spots like that. I don't know if the camera can capture that, but there's a smudge of my fingerprint there. There, you can kind of see it. I want a printer, but then look at my coffee table where all the electronics set and think, where would I put it? I don't think hanging it from the ceiling is an option. Actually, Kim, you know, in our office, we have a printer that is so huge that we actually do suspend it from the office, from the ceiling. And as it prints out, it just, sorry. As it prints out, you know, the paper just kind of spills from the ceiling and we all grab it and tear it off from the printer. Okay, so I'm just cutting it at 5.5. Again, measuring from the edge of the cardstock, not the edge of the napkin. Toss that one aside. And then again, when I trim this down, I'm gonna just grab a sliver of that cardstock. Oh, that's a big sliver. Let's move it down just a little bit. Yep, there, got it. So I just, again, like the smallest amount of the cardstock. That's what I trimmed down there, and then the rest of the excess came off with it. And again here, I'm gonna do just the smallest amount of trimming. And oh, by the way, this rotary cutter is for paper crafting only, so I never cut fabric with this. This is actually, when my blades get dull from when I'm cutting fabric, I usually take it out from my fabric cutting rotary cutters and I'll put it in here. Even though it's dull for cutting fabric, it still can cut paper. That don't look straight. That's okay. And I can fold that in half. And, ooh, that's a bad fold. Okay. Oh, rubbed it too hard. Okay, so now okay, so again, what I did was I rubbed it a little too hard, so a piece of the napkin came off of my thumb. And, well, you still don't notice it because it is white on white. I don't know if the camera light can get it. No, but that's okay. You can cover it with ribbon or cover it with a sticker or cover it with something. Or you can just leave it. Because again, it is white on white and it's not that noticeable. I don't have a TV tray and don't have room for one. That late husband built huge furniture and it takes up most of my living room. Oh. Wait a minute. Your husband built furniture? Wow, he's talented. I love using my quilting tools for my paper crafting. Okay, Sandra. Glad to know I'm not the only one. There. We'll trim this side off. That's actually a little crooked, but I'm not going to worry about it so much. Okay. I do the same with my used rotary blades. That's good to know, Pat. Again, glad to know I'm not the only one. Okay, so here's a question I'm curious about. I was actually going to put this as a poll on YouTube. How many of us use 60 millimeter blades instead of, and how many of us use 45? Or what size blade is your preference? I'm kind of curious about that. Usually if I'm trimming down something, if I'm trimming down a quilt block, I will use the 45 size. But if I'm actually cutting yardage, I will use the 60. And I'm just kind of curious what size blades everybody normally likes to cut or likes to use. I have an Epson Eco printer, and boy did they save on buying ink. You know, I'm actually thinking about buying one of those, Shirley. So, good to know that they do save on ink. Well, that's how they advertise for. So, when you buy blade refills, it says for fabric, paper, and leather. Oh, I did not know that. Okay, I'd love to get an Epson Eco printer solely for infusible inks. However, like Kim, I don't know where I put it. Okay. I have a rotary cutter just for cutting paper. I've used it and my rulers to trim pictures. Oh, trimming pictures. Yeah, sometimes I actually do use it for that. Or if I'm repurposing a card that someone sent to me. Yes, I do that. I will admit. Yeah, I will use those rotary cutters to trim those down. Okay. Most of the time, see, I like the 45 only, but I have a small one. Oh, okay. Yes, he was quite a carpenter. I have a solid walnut china cupboard, 7 foot tall, 4.5 foot long, and weighs 700 pounds empty. Ooh. The bottom part takes 4 men to move. Wow. That is impressive. Aw, man, I thought this napkin was totally printed like this. Okay, so when I do get bummer. Well, you can still use it. So yeah, you got to be careful with some of these napkins because from the packaging, they have it folded up like this, so it gives you the illusion that the entire napkin is printed with this design. But then when you open it up, yeah, they cheated you out. Okay, so you can still use it though. You're just using this section of it. So let's see, how would I use this? Or you could actually just turn it like this and just make sure that this is the front of the card. This will be the back of the card. So yeah, we can still use it. Let's use it. I'll just do one of these. Well, maybe I'll make more. Who knows? So I'm just separating the top. Let's see. When I cut more than 3 fabrics at once, I use 60. Rest of the time, I use 45. Okay. So look, I use both. I use 45 for trimming and a 60 for cutting yardage. Okay, so just like me, Jeannie. Okay, I prefer my Martelli 45, but I have a straight 28 cutter for small projects and curves. Haven't tried the 60 millimeter. Okay. The top of that 9-foot cupboard has 200-year-old glass, and it takes 4 to move it. Wow. It doesn't get moved once it's set. I sure hope not. If it takes 4 people to move it. He built me a walnut coffee table, 6 foot long, piano hinge on top, and the bottom was built to hold all of my record albums. It takes 2 men to move it. Wow. That is heavy. Okay. Hey, Robin. Sorry, I didn't notice you coming in. Okay. What was he doing? Oh, yeah. We're going to do the last one. Okay. Is this the first time that you guys are seeing this technique? Because, again, it is a pretty popular technique among paper crafters. And, well, let's be honest. How many of us would actually give this technique a try? Now, again, you don't have to make this... You don't have to just only do it for Christmas cards. You could do it for basically any occasion. I've used this as invitations to parties that I've hosted. It just depends on the design of the napkin itself or whatever you can find. I found napkins that had a birthday theme to it, so I used that for birthday cards. I've used it, of course, for Easter, Thanksgiving, even Halloween. It's just a matter of finding a print that matches the theme or a holiday that you're going for. And, you know, sometimes, again, when I'm in a bind and I only have maybe an hour or two to make a whole ton of these cards, this is my go-to method, or this is one of my go-to methods. He was a good man. Yes, he was, Kim. Okay, this time I'm going to try and make sure that I do have good coverage. Yep. First time for me. I think I will give it a try. Okay, that's good to hear, Jeannie. Okay, so now this one has no border. Am I putting it this way? Yep, I'm putting it this way. And just kind of eyeballing it. No, that's crooked. Oh. Okay, I gotta commit to it. It is a little crooked, so... I'll certainly give it a try. I will now be looking for napkins when I shop. Dollar Tree. $1.25 will give you a pack of 25, somewhere between 10 and 25 napkins. I forgot exactly how much. But I bought these a couple of years ago. I know Dollar Tree does still have this. I haven't seen this one lately, but they do have something similar to it. Okay, just smoothing that out. And yeah, I put it on wrong. Oh, well. I should have actually put it on... No? No, that's fine. Okay. I'm no good with glue. Okay. One thing I should mention, if you do have like extra wrapping paper, like gift wrapping paper, or maybe you have like scraps from when you were wrapping gifts, you could also use that or use this technique for that to make a card out of it. I have done that before. And again, it's basically, well, the big difference is with that technique though, I mean, obviously you don't have layers. Like on a napkin, you don't have many layers that you have to peel off. So it's a lot simpler in that respect. I lost my train of thought there. Sorry. Oh, wait, I gotta cut this in half. So, but yeah, I have used like leftover wrapping paper just to make a card. Using the same technique where you just kind of glue it to a cardstock, and then yeah, and it works pretty well. The card does come out a little bit more stiff though. It just depends on the grade of or how thick your wrapping paper is. But you know, if you're in a bind and you just don't want to throw away those extra scraps or those leftover scraps of gift wrapping paper, why not? That gives me an idea. Maybe I should show you some of my tricks of what I do with all the scraps when I'm gift wrapping. Because that's what I'll be doing this weekend. That plus finishing a whole bunch of quilt projects that I need to get done. Okay. There's this one. Sorry, not sure if I'm in camera. Yep. Okay, now, because this is red and the cardstock is white, if you are gonna rub it down, and if the napkin mistakenly tears like how the other one was, be careful because you might ruin your card that way. So just take extra care. Okay, now the back is a little crooked. I'm not even going to worry about that because it is the back of the card. Now, if that is going to be something that you're going to stress out over, the other thing you can do is just take this, cut it in half, and take the half that you want to use and put it on another card base. That's another simple way of using these. Sometimes when I'm making cards, I'll take a piece that's solid like this, and here's an example. I'll take a piece that's solid like this and put it as like a border or like a layer, and then put something right on top of that. That can work too. Just use your creativity, use your imagination with this. That's part of the fun of paper crafting. And why did I put my ruler there when I need it? Duh. Just, whoa, that's a big slice. And I went crooked. There. Okay. Wow. Okay, first time for me, I think I would give it a try. That was from Jeannie. I'll certainly give it a try. I will now be looking. Okay, that was Pat Strawhouse. I have saved napkins from parties to use for a scrapbook page, but I will remember for the next card. That's great, Sandra. I'm not good with glue. The dresser he built me is with my youngest now. It's white oak. So is his. Kim, was he a woodworker? Is that what it is? Let's see. Yes. Yes, Eric, please share. You can also make gift tags. Oh, that's true. I haven't made gift tags in a long time, in which... thanks for reminding me, Shirley. I need to make gift tags. The last time I looked, cardstock here was expensive. This, I think I bought this from Michael's. It was the most El Cheapo cardstock. I think it was like $25 for 100 sheets or so. Yeah, but again, I should mention that this technique, you don't want to use the most expensive cardstock that you got. Just go for the cheap stuff, as long as it's not too flimsy and won't fall apart. I mean, again, you're going to cover it anyway, so you might as well not go for the most expensive stuff. Now, notice here that I did get scraps of little bits of red flakes right there. I don't know where exactly that came from. So this might be one in which, did I do that here? Okay. I might actually, yeah, I could still use it as a card because, again, all of that stuff is on the back of the card. But what I could also do then is in fact, I think what I am going to do in this case is 4 1/4. I'm actually just going to trim this down to 4. No, let's go 4 1/4 there. So I'm going to toss this half, or I might cut, in fact, no, I'll cut this down to maybe 2, maybe 1.5, 2 inches. No, 1.5, 1 3/4. That's a good medium or good middle ground. Okay. I'm going to toss this piece because of all of those little red flakes that got in there. And like I was saying, didn't glue there, or the glue came off there. So I'll rub that down. So I could now take this, do another card base. Or I'll cut this at half. Cut it to 5.5 here. Wait, no. Well, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I almost made a big boo-boo. Cut it 5.5 this way. And now I can fold this in half to make my card base. Then I can take this one, put it on top of here. In fact, I'm going to cut this down to now say 4 or 4 1/4. So no, I did cut it to 4 1/4. So this is, we'll cut that to 5 1/4 this way. Let's see. Nope, we're going to cut it, trim it down a little bit more. Yep, to 4 1/4 this way. No, let's go 4 inches then. My brain's it's just fried already. I can't think measurements. Let's see, does that work? Yep. So you see, even though I couldn't use couldn't make a whole card out of that other half of this, I still could trim it down, take the usable half, and then glue it to another card base like this. And, you know, I can put something on top of it, or I could just leave it like this, another card. Okay, so even if it doesn't come out, or if it, I don't know, sometimes something happens, you know, when life, that's that old saying of when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So there's things that you can do to kind of cover mistakes, errors, some imperfections. Okay. So in fact, I think that's what I'm going to do with this. But I'm going to use a different type of adhesive to actually stick it onto there. So, yep. Okay. Now, if you do shop at the Dollar Tree, I did find these laser cut, they call them laser cut craft words. These are not, well, you could use it actually for this. Let's see. How about one with a lot of white space? Maybe this one. I could do that with it. That'll work. Or, you know, these are things that you can paint. So I might be, maybe I'll put glitter all over that. Just some ideas. I could even off-center it now. Yeah, so just an idea. Okay, he worked with wood as a hobby. We had a logging business. Oh, I drove the tractor and moved the logs and loaded them. Also drove the bulldozer when necessary. Wow, you drove the tractor. Wow, okay. My daughter makes junk journals, and she uses all my leftover tiny pieces of fabric, even uses the price tag of zippers, lace, thread, etc. Wow, that's being very frugal. Good night, Monica. Okay, don't cut it. Cut it across for gift tags, small red squares with white in right. Yeah, I could have actually used that. I should have made a gift tag out of that. Okay, so again, you got various ideas. But tonight was just all about getting the card base. Of course, you could actually just leave it like this. Because in some cases, the napkin or the print on the napkin is actually, got a fingerprint there. The print on the napkin is decorative enough to work as a card. You don't have to do much more than this. And again, if the, oh, it's coming from this, that's why. Okay. If the person is, you just want to have something quick, but the person's not that, you know, they're not quilt worthy or they're not card making worthy. You know, this is something quick, easy that you can do. Or if you don't want to make cards, again, as people are saying, you can make gift tags out of them too. So yeah, I'm going to continue on making these, a couple more of these, but I wanted to keep tonight a little shorter because we had a long live session last night. So yeah, give this technique a try. Let me know what you guys think, and if it's good, if it's bad, if it's okay, so. At least for me, you know, I don't like. I mean, I don't mind going to the store and just buying stuff, but to me, it's a little bit more special if it's handmade. or if it's something that someone took the time to make, you know, I'll cherish it a lot more. I know there's a lot of people that just run to the store or run to, you know, the drugstore and just buy a card. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, for some people, I guess that even making an effort to do that is a challenge. But for me, because I'm a crafter and because I like to do this kind of stuff, it just shows a little bit of special care when you take the time to actually make it instead of just buying it. Plus, you can customize it for the person too. So, yep. So it has been fun, and I have ideas to make cards quickly. That's good, Sandra. Okay. So if there's any questions before we're going to wrap it up for tonight. And again, I just wanted to keep this short, simple, quick, easy. And I might do another card making session on a live in the future or in the coming days. But this is just one technique that I'd use. There is a similar technique that uses saran wrap instead of the glue stick. So if you are searching for, or if you're searching on YouTube for videos on card making, you'll see that there are a number of YouTubers that actually do tutorials where you'll use a napkin like this, and instead of using the glue, they will actually use saran wrap and iron the napkin on there. So that's another technique that I do use. I just don't, well, there's positives and negatives about it. So, but yeah. So that's it for tonight. If there's any other last minute questions, go ahead, put it in the chat. I'll stay on for about another minute or so. But I want to thank everybody for joining here tonight. And I know it's past midnight for some of you. I really do appreciate you guys, you know, showing your support and just joining me on these live sessions and joining me or commenting when we have the videos coming on. It really does mean a lot to have people notice what I'm doing. Okay. Speaking of which, hey Eric, I didn't know you're catching I'm catching the end. Well, thanks for joining, Tracy. Speaking of which, some of you might know of him. His name is Sean. He is the guy who sews. That's the name of his YouTube channel. He did ask me to join him on a project in which he's asking various quilters to do or he's trying to compile like a mini trunk show. And so we did a Zoom call this past weekend, and I shared a quilt of mine, and I think he's going to do it as a premiere on Christmas Eve. So if you are not subscribed to his channel, check him out. His channel is called The Guy Who Sews. He has a cool logo with a koala. Well, koalas are not bears, so koala. That's as part of his logo for his channel. He is from Australia. Very nice guy, very sweet guy. He does have his YouTube channel, The Guy Who Sews, and he is compiling a video for that I was part of, so be on the lookout for that. I think he said he was going to do it as a premiere on Christmas Eve. So yeah. And then as some of you already know, I will be visiting Tiffany of Tiffany's Quilting Life during Christmas. And let's just say we'll probably drive her husband a little nuts. Yeah. Well, that's it for tonight, guys. Please take care of your health. I know in some parts of the country it is below freezing, so stay warm out there. Thank you guys again for joining. And we shall see you tomorrow night. I don't want to jinx it, but yes, I will do my best to make it on and do another live session with you guys tomorrow night. So until then, mwah. Now go out and create something or create your own cards. All right. Take care, guys. Thanks.